Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I am excited to be here today. I am doing my weekly check-in and I am here to share this with you and just kind of see what I spent this past 7 days and see what I have left in the budget moving forward based on what my family's needs and wants are. And that is what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pop my pages out. We're going to zoom in and we're going to take a look at a few things. I'm going to show you the weekly check-in page. These are just notes to myself. This is the calendar I keep my weekly check-in spending tracking. This is how I track the spending. And I color code it with these highlighters with each expense sticker. And then I'm also going to go through and kind of show you the day-to-day of how I do it as well, really quick. And I'm just going to pop these pages out and we're just going to get started. So if you haven't done your weekly check-in and you want to do it with me, grab your stuff, get your pens, paper, pencils, whatever, and let's see how we did this week. Let's see what we got going on. I'm excited to get into this, so I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. So grocery household is one of my first categories in my spending tracking that I do. And this can be done in several ways. I use logs. I prefer to write things out and come up with the number. You can use cash envelopes. I'm showing you a sneak peek here. This is my cash envelopes for the month of March with the clovers. I will have a video coming up with my March budget sheets and what the clovers will look like at the top. This is not what it looks like. You can track this way and you can keep a running total day to day every time you spend and every time you put money in. That is what your total is for your spending out of your checking account, especially if you're a spender who uses a debit card or does it electronically or a credit card. This way you can stay in budget and still know what you have. But a lot of us are very visual and you're going to laugh at this, I know. I did one of these spending trackers. I'm going to move this to the side. And I have grocery household. And this is what it would look like with my spending tracker. That I sell with these these cash envelopes. Now you can buy these as a printable. I do not sell the physical. I just happen to laminate mine so I can share and show that you can laminate them and do your own thing with them and create your own cash envelope system. I'm going to fix my lighting here. I don't have enough lighting. There we go. And I found this play money for children. Instead of buying prop money, this is play money. So they're very small, but this represents this. So the highlighted part you see here is where I did my week 1 check-in. What's not highlighted is my week 2 check-in. And basically you just change the money out in front of you physically if you're doing it electronically, because cash is not safe or easy for you to carry around. Then you can have a physical representation of what your cash envelope should look like every time you spend, and that will trigger in your brain an opportunity to go, okay, this is what I have left for this upcoming week. Do I have enough to spend? Now, I have plenty of cash left over in all my categories just because one of our family members is not here. If you've been on my channel, you know my husband is deployed. It's not Valentine's Day yet when I'm filming this. It's February 10th. So I have 4 more days and we are counting down and he will be flying home. So this is the cash envelope and here is the tracker that you get to print with it. And that's how I keep this together if I needed a visual representation. I would do this with my boys as young men. That would be a great way to do it. Print something cool, maybe a sports team or, you know, one of the characters from the Avengers or the, you know, Marvel or Star Wars or whatever, Disney Plus stuff, and have them practice, okay, yeah, use your debit card, but this is going to represent the physical cash that's going in and out of your account. So I just thought I'd show that really quick and let you know I've done it for a few categories here. I do have cash envelopes with real cash, but they're savings. So here's the restaurants, and so let's look at that. Move this to the side. And here's my restaurants, and you're going to see these numbers are all the same. So I know how much I have in restaurants. I haven't spent anything since last Sunday, so there hasn't been a lot going on with my husband being gone. And that means my cash envelope should have this amount of money. Now, what I've done here with my cash envelope is not include the change. I just stop at the whole number, and that works for me. So what a cash envelope looks like, this is pretty much the same thing. Now, I'm using the highlighter color that I use in my tracker. And here's the cash envelope. They say the same, and then this is the cash, pretend cash. You know what? I took out some, or did I not get it all out? I didn't get it all out. That's what it was. So, you know, you would count it out 50, 120, 40, and then 65, and then 7, 8, 9. And that would be a great way to help yourself or your family member or whoever you are working with on money and understanding how much money is going in and how much money is coming out, and kind of give that feeling of this is not comfortable when you're just buying random stuff, so that you can have money for what you really want to spend and really, really enjoy. This is how I tracked my miscellaneous. I have my budgeted amount, I subtract, and then when a new week's coming, whatever's left over in the budget, I roll over and add to the new week, and I do that week after week after week. So same thing with these cash envelopes, I did the same thing. So I'm definitely going to be working with my sons, even though they're adults. They are autistic and they don't deal in cash, and I had them focus on their education more than I did their the life skills necessary. Gasoline, only got gas once. So we're going to see that in the calendar spread, and that's what we're going to look at next. So hopefully you enjoyed that little demonstration there and maybe spark some ideas for you. I know cash envelope stuffing is very popular. It's not something I particularly do because I don't really work in cash, but I do like working with you guys and want to show as many ways possible to help you find something that works for you. Again, there's the categories. These are the highlights: pink for grocery, household, blue restaurants, green miscellaneous, orange gasoline, and yellow unbudgeted. And you'll see a lot of unbudgeted because my husband is wrapping up his travel from being a civilian contractor on a Navy ship, and he had to pay for some of his meals and stuff, and then the company's going to reimburse us later and all those good things. I tracked that as well in here. I started tracking unbudgeted items to, like a cash envelope, to see how much I was spending and making it hurt to not frivolously spend in the unbudgeted, which is taking away from the buffer of our checking account. So I just wanted to make sure that when I do that, I'm doing it with great thought and great understanding of why I'm spending. So yeah, so now we're ready to dive into this. This is my calendar, and I'm going to just kind of stack these together and we'll just kind of go from there. I do have already put together my, there we go, my sheets didn't want to line up. My sticky note. I went ahead and wrote everything out, and we're just going to check it off as we go along. And the amounts, I've double checked the amounts. I haven't done the whole thing, but I do know what I have spent is accurate. So the first thing you see for grocery household in pink is this Walmart for $148.52. I did a pretty decent sized grocery haul, and I have that written right here. And then you're going to see here, I have two. One is Walmart for $91.50. I needed some more stuff, so I have $91.50 here. And $22.24, and there's $22.24 right there. So what Sally Beauty is where I pick up my son's shampoo. He needs the tea tree oil shampoo that works best with his scalp, and he prefers it, and it's in the generic brand, so it's cheaper, and I save a lot of money when I go to Sally Beauty. Normally when I buy shampoo, I normally buy it at the grocery store, or kind of a Head and Shoulders kind of family. So I buy it at the grocery store and while I'm shopping for grocery household stuff. And so even though Sally Beauty is not really a grocery thing. It is something I would have purchased in a grocery store if it happened to be in the store. And they have tea tree, like Head and Shoulders and stuff. For whatever reason, this brand seems to work better than the others for my son's scalp. So, and then, I went to Kroger's this morning to pick up a couple extra items that I didn't have before. And that was the only thing I spent today, and that's on the list. So let's go ahead and total these numbers up right here. And that way we can have it for the check-in. Let me adjust my camera. It's crooked or something. Hold on a second. Keep having to angle it kind of funny. So hopefully it'll stay put this time. So here we go. 148.52 plus the 22.24 plus the 91.50 plus the 18. 18. All right. That gives us $280.44. I'm going to write that number down, and based on my spreadsheet, that is accurate. Now, of course, when I wrote it down, it wasn't accurate. Here we go. So I have $280.44 spent. All right, and restaurants. So now we're going to go back and take a look at the restaurants. Here we go. Restaurant spending, and all I really have here is the Papa John's for $35.27, and then McDonald's for $20.67. And that is real-time inflation, people, because if you look at my past McDonald's purchases last month, they were in the $17 and some change, and now it's $20 for the exact same items. I'm like, my goodness, inflation just hit, so I may stop doing that. I don't know. Of course, with my husband back, I'll probably not go there. We'll probably go Red Robin or something like that, so we can eat as a family if we're going to do that on Sundays. So let's total these two together. 35.27 plus 20.67, and that is 55.94. There we go. All right, miscellaneous. Start here, $13.77, and that was this prop money. And I'll just kind of show you the bundles that kind of came in. Actually, I'll just show you the whole product because I have all of it sitting here. It just came in yesterday. And when I didn't realize how small the bills were going to be, or I would have used them more. But it's play money for kids is what it is. It's got 50s, 100s, 20s, 10s, 5s, and 1s. And for $13.77, I thought this was a pretty good deal, even though the money's smaller. It's ages 5 and older. There's the little logo at the top. So 1s, 10s, 5s, 20s, 50s, and 100. So it's kind of like Monopoly money the kids can play with, but I still think it's still good no matter who you are, what age, because obviously there's no age limit to it. And that's pretty awesome. Whatever works, you know, you got to use what works and inspires until you can afford something better. And I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on prop money because I was trying to price some of that to show you the cash envelopes based on a weekly check-in. And the number of bills I would have had to do that is just that would have been too much for me. So that was that. I'm still definitely going to use these. So let's see. The next thing I have is 1801, which is I purchased some birthday party decorations. We're going to have a first birthday party here at my house on the 19th, and I am excited about that. And it's for a friend's little girl. And then the next thing I have is this 3167, which is right here, and I purchased this game that my son has been looking for in stores, and it's not there. It's the NHL 2022 PS4 version. We can't seem to afford the $1,000 PS5s that were $499. That highway robbery kind of thing, and they haven't made new ones or have enough supply chain to actually bring out new ones, so I don't know what we're going to do. I would love to upgrade them to a PS5, but I don't want to pay more than what the manufacturer really recommended when it was first brought out. And maybe down the road when things get a little better, we'll upgrade. But until then, PS4 will do just fine. So I totaled the 1377, the 1801, and the 3167. Enter, and that gave us $63.45. So that is what we spent in miscellaneous, and I think we're doing pretty darn good with that. So there you go. Gas was only $64.44. That's for filling up my tank. And then unbudgeted. So I had several items for unbudgeted. A 2224, is that right? No, that's not right. I don't know why I wrote that. I wrote it wrong on the sticker, and I have to rewrite it. It's 116. 116, which is actually a sinking fund. So I have the money. I just paid with my checking account, and then want to reimburse myself later when I go to put money deposit into the sinking funds, because this is less than what I actually put in there, and I just kind of pay myself back later. And then two $500 ones, and let me explain what those are. So these unbudgeted, like I said, these were planned but unplanned because I didn't know what day it was going to happen. I didn't know how to really plan it until it actually went through the bank. I just made sure I had enough cash for it. The P.O. box is, I keep the address here on the channel, so if you ever want to send snail mail or Happy Mail or anything like that, support the channel, whatever, there's a P.O. box for you. And so I paid that, and that's for 6 months. It went up like 11 or 12, several dollars. So I was like, man, so I had to readjust for my sinking funds going forward, and we'll figure that out next month. But travel expense, my husband had two $250 transactions to pay the travel expense for eating on the ship, and then the company's going to reimburse us for those later. So that savings, that travel expense savings you see on my savings tracker, that's where I get the $500. That's why I keep $800 there and keep it rotated between every time we get reimbursed. That way it doesn't impact our budget at all. It's like, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't, you don't feel anything. It just, we have the money, we put it back. We have the money, we put it back. It doesn't matter. And then because my husband's been working so hard and he didn't get any VA education money this month and overtime, this is a drop in the bucket compared to what he's actually, brought home in overtime. Most of it went into savings for savings goals, but I definitely wanted him to have cash, not just for himself, but he's getting ready to travel international, and he can put it in his Visa Go card, which is a prepaid card he uses internationally. And if he's stuck and he needs to pay for something, and then we can just sort it out later, this $500 hopefully will be enough to kind of help with that. And then the $500, if he doesn't need it for the travel internationally, it's just for him, because I love him and he deserves it. And I'll probably do another $500 down the road and say, here, here's money from your overtime. You worked really hard for the family and we appreciate it, and things like that. So that's where that came from. So that was a total of, let's see, I'll get this on here right. Okay. 116 plus 500 plus 500. And that was 1,116. I could have done that math in my head, but I didn't. Now, this number really doesn't affect the budget, like I said, because that's a sinking fund. One of it was overtime money, and that I budgeted, and I'm like, I just didn't know what day he was going to transfer it, and he and I had already talked about it. And the other one was money from the savings for his travel. So now we can get to the weekly check-in. Whoops, wrong side. There we go. So the weekly check-in. Now, when I am doing these numbers, I'm doing week by week, but the paycheck periods are different. So this is paycheck 1, and then week 2 and week 3 are funded by paycheck 2, and we are in the middle of paycheck 2. We have one more week left. This first week, or this week 2, first week of paycheck 2, I wanted to make sure I had plenty of money here, and anything left over will balance forward. And that is what we're going to find out today. Now, these numbers are going to drastically be more spendy and change when my husband comes back. Me and the boys really haven't been doing anything. We've just been hunkered down at home and just kind of hanging out together and just not really doing a whole heck of a lot. We've had some snow days and things like that. So we just really didn't feel the need to spend a lot of money and do a lot. So that's why we haven't been spending a lot. But now that my husband's coming back, and I have two adult sons. One will be 18 in June. The other one's already 23. And then my husband, when the four of us, my husband likes to do things. He likes to go places and do things and go out to eat and things like that. So this will be totally different after this, during week 3, and you'll see the difference in the changes. So here we go. We're going to take what we spent and put it in the different categories. So $280, 44 cents, 55.94. Let's see here. Move this up a little bit, and then you can see the bottom half. 63.45 and 64.44. Okay. Now I am gonna mark unbudgeted. It was like $116, but that doesn't go with the math here. And the reason I do it that way is when I was doing this before, when I first started doing this, I was doing a lot of frivolous spending here in the unbudgeted out of the, it's kind of like that money burning a hole in your pocket, you know, when you're a kid and you just want to spend it on anything just to be able to spend it, to get that high almost. That's what that was. And I was trying to get it under control, and this is how I got it under control. When I look at this now and I go, okay, that was money for my husband that we discussed. Everything was discussed. Everything was transferred from savings back into checking to cover, or it's going to come out of the sinking funds and I'm floating it until the third paycheck of the month. So there's a plan. If there was no plan and I was just spending, then I'd be concerned with this number. But because there was a plan and I know where all the cash is coming from or has come from and where it's going, and we had the money for it, then I'm not so worried about that. So that's what we have there, and we're just going to total these numbers up. 280.44 plus 55.94 plus 63.45 plus 64.44. All right, that's $464.27. Okay. Write that number here, 464.27. That is what I spent. That's what I had available. If I subtract those two numbers, $1,012.82, that gives me $548.55. So let's see if my balances stay true going the other way. 548. As I always say, I love my Frixion pens because I make a lot of mistakes, especially for journaling. Ugh, you want it to look nicer and not scribbly all over. All right, here we go. Can I get it all this on here? I'll have to cover the categories a little bit. All right. And we'll just bring it down just a little bit. All right, here we go. So 417.09 minus the 280.44. 136.65. And this is what I mean by, let me see if I can find it, my logs that I keep on this. So either my log here should have the same number, which is my grocery household, same category, and it has the exact same number that I have here. You can do it this way. You can do it with the calendar and the transactions on the calendar, or it should also match if you're doing cash envelopes, grocery household. Basically, they're all the same thing, exact same number. They're all the same thing. They're just different ways of doing it, and one way makes more sense than another for you to do. And the more ways I can show that works, hopefully it reaches enough people that it can provide the necessary means of what to do. I don't recommend doing the log and the cash envelopes and the weekly check. And, you know, if that's overwhelming, pick one that works. And as long as you do your math right, you should be fine. So I don't want to overwhelm people. I do all of this for you guys to share, but if it was just me and I wasn't sharing it and didn't have a channel, I would be doing the logs and the paycheck to paycheck. And then just at the beginning of the month, do a mock budget of the monthly. And that's it. I wouldn't be doing any of the weekly check-ins and the cash envelopes or anything else, just because that's just not what I necessarily need. But I do enjoy experimenting with those to see what they look like and how to share those with others. So here we go. Restaurants, $55.94, and that gives us $169.06. Which is what all my trackers say. And then I have here $220.73 minus the $63.45. And I would love to know from you guys, what method works best for you? Does the physical cash work best for you? Cash envelope system? Does logging it in a transaction log and doing it digitally, does that work better for you? Or is there another way that you prefer, or the weekly check-in? Do you need to know day to day, or is once a week good enough for you? Those kind of things. I would love to know what works for you guys. And make sure I'm providing good content for those whatever it is that you're working on. So gasoline, I have 85.56 left over. And then I always put a line here because it doesn't count as far as the math goes. And I'm going to add that 85.56 and see if this totals up to the rest of what I already done. So 169.06 and then plus 136.65. $548.55. So that works. Check and check, as I say. So now what I need to do is take these balances and add what I came up with for my system this month. Do I still have a sticky note? Yeah, I have a sticky note here. Weekly check-in for this month. I wanted monthly just to spend $1,000 grocery household total. So I divided it by the number of weeks. The last week, or the last 3 or 4 days down here, I have it as a 5-week check-in, just because the last few days of the month I have separate, even though it's not a full week. Just because my husband gets paid at the first of every month with government checks on military retirement and VA disability. It just makes sense to end February at the end of February. So if you are paid every other week and part of February's money pays for the first few days of March, then I wouldn't end it directly at the end of the month. I would just carry it through to your normal ending time period. So if you have questions about that, let me know in the comments below. But I divided it by 4, and then that's anything left over after all the 4 weeks. That's what I'll do. So I'm going to add the $250 that I have budgeted for every week. Get everything back on screen so we can there we go. All right, so 136.65 plus the 250 I planned for the week, and that gives me here for week 3, $386.65, and that should be pretty good. I'm not going to, hopefully not do much grocery shopping between now and Monday, and I'm going to wait for my husband to come back on Tuesday and see what he wants for meal planning for the rest of the week. And we'll go from there. That is what I have beginning there. So 169.06 plus the 112 is what I had planned every week. And that was going to be $281.56. Here is 157.28 plus miscellaneous, which is $135 or $137.50 every paycheck, or every week, I'm sorry. Terminology gets me every time. Okay, $294.78. My husband may need specific things that we didn't think of, or he's run out of that he normally has because he's been gone, or needs to restock on stuff. So that's going to help with random miscellaneous stuff for him. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Sometimes we buy things because he does have to get with the VA on his CPAP supplies. They haven't shipped anything, and he needs to set that appointment up. So things like that have to be taken care of. So I can order masks for him on Amazon for his CPAP machine that he likes, and we might have to do that before his actual order comes through, and that's fine too. So we've done that before. So gasoline is $85.56 plus 75. Oops. Plus 75. There we go. And that gives us $160.56, which is perfect. I'm not going to plan any unbudgeted. Oh, geez, I don't know what I'm writing here. There we go. I tripped myself up without writing that dollar sign first. But if I need to fill my tank, that's enough money, because it takes, the last one I did was $64.44, so that's going to be $65 for me. And his tank isn't as large on his Jeep as my Armada, but prices have gone up to $338, I think, down the road from my house. So yeah, that's getting us. So let's total these numbers up and see what I have for week 3. Now, week 3 is paycheck 2. And at the end of week 3, my husband gets another paycheck, and that will begin our week 4 budget. So we'll see how the numbers look. I mean, it's been a while. It's been 2 months since my husband's been home. So if you're new to my channel and you're seeing all these low numbers and you're like, wow, she's saving a lot of money. No, I'm only saving a lot of money for a couple months. When my husband's back, this is pretty much gone. So don't worry. You'll start seeing the spending soon. So $160.56 plus the $294.78 plus the $281.56 plus the $386.65, and that gives us even more than last. I really just did not do any spending, which is awesome. So $1,123.55. My numbers as far as spending categories go come from a year of tracking and looking at how we spend money. And that's where the numbers came from. So like I said, it's a lot when he's home, but when he's gone, we're just so hunkered down and like we miss him and lonely and don't do a lot of activities that we tend to save a lot of money, but we can't seem to do that when he's home. He's like the one that gets us out moving and going and doing things. And it was a cold winter, and it was, just, with what's going on in the world, it's like, okay, what are you going to do? So, there's only so many outdoor activities I'm willing to do when it's cold outside, and they're very few and far between. So anyways, that is the weekly check-in. I am going to zoom out. I'm going to pop all these budget sheets back into my budget binder, and I will be right back. Okay, there you have it, my weekly check-in. I'm still zoomed in a little bit because the whole page is not filled out yet, but we're looking good, and we have plenty of money going into the third week of the third week. This is the third week. That's second week. The third week, the 11th through the 17th. I do my weekly check-ins, obviously, as you might have noticed, from Friday to Thursday, because that's just what works with my husband's paydays. Even though on the first of every month my husband gets paid, when I started doing weekly check-ins, that's the rhythm I found that worked best for me. You may do it from Monday to Monday or Sunday to Sunday, Sunday to Saturday or Monday to Sunday or whatever, depending on what day of the week you get paid, and depends on how frequently you get paid. So once you find that rhythm, then work within that and it's amazing. It's amazing how tracking and looking and knowing really helps with your understanding with your budget. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and that definitely helps support my channel. If you are not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, and I hope you have an amazing and blessed day. Bye.